Everyone has seen the sign at the boardwalk. Palm readings, tarot cards, fortune telling, psychic. Meanwhile, I've only given a few skeptic glances at it myself, but I'm sure there are plenty of you who have even paid for the service yourselves. But that's kind of all you get is a service. Meanwhile, I've been kind of curious, what is it like on the other side? I want to learn about where a psychic comes from and what it's like to be a psychic. Well, I'm very glad to have gotten a chance to talk to Debbie Duncan. She's a self-proclaimed psychic, and I got to hear her absolutely insane stories that range anywhere from locating dead bodies to witnessing floating objects in her own home. So, thanks for tuning in. I'm Trevor, and this is Out of Somewhere.
Well, I call myself, like everybody finds out a title for themselves. And I said, well, I'm a psychic and I'm a tarot reader and I'm also have mediumship abilities. So that's pretty much what I say. But I know we talk about every kind of topic under the sun. We have lots of shows on psychic fixes, and I have a lot of stories, Trevor. A lot. I've even done a tarot reading for you, and I have it here. But that's the biggest thing I do is,
The tarot
well,
reading.
can I go ahead and tell you kind of how I got into it?
Please.
Okay. Well, I was psychic all my life, and I didn't really know that's what it was. I always knew what was going to happen. Super lucky. And my family just hated me because I play games like aggravation and really get them upset because I could roll double sixes forever and I would just will it to happen. And I could feel a kind of like a force field around me. Matter
Kind of
of
like
fact,
a aura or...
well, I don't know what it was. I thought everybody had it. So I could take my hand and put it up against my arm, and there'd be a solid wall around it. And I thought, well, I didn't think anything of it. I thought everybody had that. But I
Like,
do know
when
that,
would this be? Like,
oh my gosh, I really came about knowing that preteen and teen. And but I do know that like I could tell everybody I told you so because I always knew what was going to happen. But you know what? You kind of get out of it. You grow up, you college and jobs and family and all of that. And so I didn't think too much of it until I had what I call a near death experience. And
okay.
that was a massive blood loss. And after I was recovering from that, I was walking through my dining room and I had this thought come into my head, like a talking thought come into my head. And I even moved my head as I got it in. And I thought, that wasn't me. That
Some
was not my
completely
thought.
other being, something you felt like was
Yeah,
reaching out to you.
something. And it told me about my brother in law, who at the time was diagnosed with cancer. And I was like, well, I'll tell you what it was. It said, Dean was my brother in law. Dean needs to buy necklaces for the girls. And I just went like this and I went, well, that wasn't my thought, but what was that about? That was very random. And it played in my head over and over. And I thought, really, am I going crazy? What is this about? And so this was my first thing that happened to me, right? So I felt compelled after a while to go to a store and buy necklaces, like, gemstone necklaces. And I thought, what am I doing? Am I going crazy? What am I doing? And I went and put them in the closet and said, okay, I've got to let this go. This thing about he has to buy. I cannot go talk to him when he's terminally ill and say, hey, you got to buy necklaces for your girls. I mean, it didn't make any sense. And so he was, came down and he stayed with me whenever he was going and having procedures at the hospital. And he was having some surgery. And his girls were up in the guest room with me. And I said, girls, I have to tell you something. I said, I get that your dad needs to buy you necklaces. And I turned around and I got the necklaces out. And as I turned to them, their mouths were open.
So
And
you
I
just
said, what?
approached them with these necklaces, just kind of out of the blue to
I
them.
just said, well, and they all looked and they pulled out diamond crosses. He had went out and bought his wife and all of the girls diamond necklaces. And I was like, huh, that was weird. And more stuff came in. I got interested in getting a reading. I went to a bookstore on the coast and I picked out this lady and I sat down with her and she did tarot and she said, uh, you have a son. Yeah. He's 21. I'm like, yeah. And she goes, you've written a children's book. And then she looked and she goes, why haven't you done anything with it? And I went, okay, you got me here. So I got
Just all this out of the
interested
blue,
in,
really.
oh my gosh, she didn't know me and I don't even live there. And so I went to her home and I did a psychic development class, which I thought was amazing because most of the people were professional professors and everything at a UC college, university. And then I took her tarot class and I realized when I started doing it, I was like, this is just crazy. From trying psychometry to everything, I nailed everything. I knew things. And I said, this is amazing. And so that started me going. And I was kind of alone in it because a lot of people, when they start, they don't want people to know. They're like, what are they going to think of me that I'm taking cards or whatever? I have lost a couple of family members due to them thinking it's, like witchcraft or voodoo or something. But nonetheless, I got into it and more came in, Trevor. More came in. I had my sister-in-law type to me and she goes, um, my girlfriend has a question for you. And I thought, well, everybody does. And I said, what is it? And she said, where is my husband? And I'm like, what? And I typed back and I said, like, physically, where is he? And I go, she goes, yeah. And I go, I don't do that. And I go, well, wait a minute. Okay. I said, all right, I'll look. And then by using the tarot cards and psychic ability, I searched a map and then I typed to her the streets that he was at. And I could see like pictures and videos and backwards writing and all kinds of stuff. They come in as a vision. And I
Hmm.
said, there's a house there. He's in a ditch, and I get that he can't move. But here's the name of the crossroads, and he's right there. There's a family there, and there's water and everything. So just go there. He's there, right there where the signpost is. And she says, okay, call up his wife. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm not going to call up the wife. I haven't done this before. I don't know what I'm
This is
doing.
just
I've
kind of
never done
someone
this.
reaching out to you in the blue while you were growing this skill of yours.
Yeah, I mean, nobody asked me this. I just did it. And so what happened was the phone rang. She called her, and I was talking to the wife, and I was like, okay, Debbie, you have to be confident. You know that everything that you come has been validated, everything. So I told her, this is where your husband is. I said, do you know where that is? And she goes, yes. And she goes, search and rescue actually has it on their list to go there. And I went, oh, yes, because I wouldn't want to have the police or search and rescue go on a wild goose chase. And so it was scary, but I was confident that I got the right information. So I said to her, I said, can I ask you, is there a reason that your husband cannot move, like physically move his body? And she said, yes, he's a Parkinson's patient and he's been off his meds now that he's been missing for quite a few days. So he would be locked up. And I said, okay, well, I have a card that shows being constrained. And that's psychically, I got in, he can't move. And then I looked at the cards and I saw him dying on Friday and dead on Saturday. So I said to her, I'm not going to say that. I go, okay. I said, I really feel like they need to go look for him by Friday, because I saw him dying on Friday. And she said, yes, I think they should too. And I said, okay, thank you. And I let it go, but I couldn't let it go mentally. I was like, should I get in a car? Should I find where this is? Should I
Because
drive
you
to
feel
it?
responsible at this point.
I did. And so I restrained myself and I didn't hear anything. And when Friday and Saturday came, I went, oh, he's dead. And then that next Wednesday, which was 1 week from when I gave the prediction, they found him. And I got this message from my sister in law, all in caps: Debbie, you were right. They found him right where you said he was, at the signpost, and he was deceased. And it's because, and I said, and she said, the wife is so mad because search and rescue went by there 5 times, but they didn't get out of their vehicle.
They just still quick
They
little.
went drive by, don't see anything, and he was in a little ditch and he had died. So that was that's when I knew, Trevor, that we don't set limits. And from then on, when anybody comes to me, somebody came to me and they go, our group should do past lives. And I go, you know what? I can't ever see that you can ever validate a past life. So, I mean, how can you? And I said, but sit down. I said, let me try. And if it doesn't work, then we know it doesn't work. So at that point,
So
I was with,
there's sorry to interrupt you in
go
this.
ahead,
So there's
go
a
ahead.
strong feeling for yourself personally to be able to validate these things, that to kind of give them a
Absolutely.
purpose.
Oh, I'm quitting if I ever don't get something right on. I do a lot of readings and I do free reading shows. And I'll tell somebody, this one lady a couple weeks ago, she was like, what's going to happen for me in 2021? And I put the cards down and I go, the only thing you're going to do in 2021 is work on your house. That's it. The whole, and a lot of
And
times
what
I
was
say
this?
things and say, this is crazy. The whole year. And so I can't see what they're saying. And later on, I could see it. And she goes, yep, the building materials came in, and that's all we got planned for the whole year. And I was like, yes, there we go. I get very excited when I get everything, and it does happen all the time, but it's just like it's brand new to me. So we do all kinds of things, but I step in to other things, like I did past lives, and that's amazing. And I've only did it when I'm physically in front of a person, and
Hmm.
I didn't know how to do it. Sometimes I would, like touch their hand or something like that. And what I did was, there were mediums, and we were thinking we had to add a medium to our group because we were streaming live seances,
Hmm.
which were crazy. The best story of anything I've ever done is at a seance. But what I did is I sat down and I said, first, let me connect to this one person. And I said, I just want to, let's break the ice and see what's going on. And I said, do you want to talk to someone that passed? And she said, yes. And I said, this little girl came in front of me and she looked very much like Alice in Wonderland with the pinafore and the
Hmm.
headband. And sometimes they come that way to me and then they morph into what they look like. And then I see numbers floating, and I think I said 12. I said she passed at 12, and I have this one girl that goes in, and I wrote down, and I get she la she la, like 2 words.
Hmm.
And then I said, she wore like an apron or a pinafore, and she had long hair, and she had always had a headband. I get a headband. And then they show me how they died, and this was very gruesome death. And I went, oh my goodness, like I don't want to show anybody, I don't want to tell you. And they're going like, and this wasn't a past life. It ended up being the medium's best friend who passed as a child at 12 years old. She wore a pinafore. She always had a headband. Her name was Sheila, but she would always say Sheila to her. And she had just a horrific accident that I saw. I told her. She said, correct, that's how it happened. Then I turned to the person. I said, let's now do a past life. Let's see if it works. And she sat there, and I saw a girl come in, and then I saw, I can't remember, it was 6 or 9 or something like that. And I said, this is the year in which, how old you were when you died. Usually I can peg a time period. And I said, this is what you're wearing. And the person, girl, lifted up and showed me shoes and socks, her shoes and socks. Then she lifted up and showed me her socks. And then she lifted up and showed me her feet. And I kept saying, I don't know what this is, but you are so crazy about socks. And I said, you're showing me your socks. I know it's important that your socks. It's all about socks. And then I said, oh my gosh, I see how you died. And I go, and she goes, tell me because this might heal me. And I said,
She's
gosh, I
looking
hate
for
to tell you.
closure, maybe something like that.
Yeah, and it was sad. And she goes, I died in a flood, didn't I? And I said, your feet are wet and muddy. And I said, you did. It was a natural disaster. And she said, let me tell you about socks. She says, I love socks. I have them for every occasion. I buy it for everything. And I just love my sock collection. And I said, we just bridged it from something from another life to your life. And that was amazing. Plus we caught, she was a medium. She knew how she always thought she died in a flood. And then I saw these wet, muddy feet. So we bridged it. And from then on, when I do these past lives, they always like geologists. I see you a geologist. This is your name. This is the year. This is the year you were that you died, and you're panning for gold, and you're showing me geodes and all this. And the person goes, "Oh my gosh, I built my house around the rocks." Brought in the rocks. My husband's going to kill me if I ever go to another rock store. I mean, all this stuff, it is always validated. But if can I tell you the most, if unless you have a question, the most
No,
incredible experience.
I'm enjoying these thoroughly. Please.
The most incredible experience that showed me something new about past lives is that I was streaming a live seance. We always had two clients and we had multiple mediums because I said instead of getting all of the people that are psychic don't get everything,
Hmm.
Trevor. They don't. And some people can get names, some people can connect, and some get little but very important words. But I thought, why not get 4 to 5 mediums? Will go ahead and give readings to two people, and we'll get as much information as we can.
And try to
So
piece
I'm
together
setting
the
there.
puzzle more or less of what.
Yeah, we get more in there. And so I had a gentleman to my right, and we had gone around, and everybody gave whatever. And I said to him, we had to stretch for time. And I said, would you like a past life reading? And he said, yes. And I said, may I take your hand? And I held his hand. And then the little boy came and I said, you're from Vietnam and you're in color and you're talking to me right now. I'm meeting your family. Here's your siblings. Here's your mom. Here's your dad. This is the industry in which they did everything there. And then all of a sudden I saw a napalm body, a burned body. And I was like, okay, this is how you died. And I said, and then the little boy is talking to me, and I said to the man, I'm talking to you right now in another lifetime. Because, it may be that time is happening all at once, right? So I said, do you want a message from yourself? And he said, yes, I'd love a message for myself. So I said, oh, this is going to be so cool. Trevor, I was like, this
Just
is
so
great.
excited.
Oh, yes, it's going to be like you're on the enlightened path of whatever, right? Well, wrong. I looked at the little boy, and the little boy looked right at me and he said, dog. I said, okay. And I looked at the man, I said, dog. And I looked back to the little boy and he goes, dog. And I looked back and I go, dog. And I look back like, where's this very enlightened message? And he goes, dog, 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 dog. And I go, dog, 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 dog. And Debbie's going, I'm never doing this again. I am never, ever doing, I can't do this. And then I looked and he showed me like a collie, like a dog, to say dog. And I looked at the guy and I said, I'm really sorry. That's all I can get for you. That's it.
That's all it's
Dog.
giving. All the past life is giving you. It's just dog.
That's it. I mean, I told him the family and everything. And I go, but as far as a message, that's it. And I thought I'll never do that again. And so now we have the time in the seance where the clients get to give feedback. So they gave feedback to everybody. And then they came around to me and he sat there and he goes, I want to tell you all something. Before I came here, I have a big decision to make in my life. And I talked to the other side and I told them if somebody got in my face and said a certain word, I would know how to change my life and to make that decision. And he said that word was dog. I went over. I
Like
went
it's
over the chair. I was like, are you kidding me? And that's when I found out that we're connected to past lives. And the code word he had was given to God, Jesus, wherever it was given to the universe. And I connected and got the code word from him in a past life. Isn't that crazy?
just all these things are connected, and it sounds like you yourself are almost a skeptic of yourself, of
Oh
what's
yeah.
going
Oh
on.
yeah. And you have to be to everything and everybody you do. Because again, it goes back to the validation. You try, it doesn't work, you know, but it's validation. There's so many people out there that are saying they're mediums and stuff, and they are totally not. And they scam people out of money. And that's one of the worst things. It's so bad. And people are need answers and everything. So I pride myself that the people that work on psychic fixes and myself are accurate. And if I found anybody not to be, we'd be
What
finished.
what
And
what
every
tells
Go
you
ahead.
that? How do you tell when someone's like? What's the validation process that you have?
For someone else.
Yeah.
Oh, if I find out that somebody said, boy, it was a terrible reading and they didn't give me anything and they were way off, anything like that. Because, we never know, Trevor, if it's going to be taken away from us. Really, you don't. And this was a gift. This is a gift from God. And so if I hear that kind of stuff, then I have to go and find out. There's somebody that's very well known out there in the world right now that had some kind of an injury, brain injury, and I'm getting a lot of feedback from people that's not the same. It's not as accurate. So you never know, how does our brain, the energy, whatever, when something gets an injury or gets broken. But I'm real skeptical about people that just general charge a heck of a lot of money. Now I'll tell everybody right now, this is how I work. I work online and it's very affordable. You don't have any money and you have a crisis, it's free. It's free and you're going to get as good whatever. I do corporate, I do multimillionaires, I do celebrities, but it has to be free and it has to be affordable to the person. And when I hear people having, which I don't think is like the strongest psychic ability, have hundreds of dollars, and we had that even with the people that were good and maybe fell out of favor, like Sylvia Brown did. Um, you would have to back then give up paying a house payment to go to her back then because it was almost $700. And to me, that's like God gave you a gift and you need to help people. Absolutely. And that's why we do free readings. I have this great partner, Carla Fishing Hawk, and she's a Native American medium, and she does the shows with me, some of them, and they're free. I let everybody that is on Psychic Fixes on Facebook, all the shows we have, all kinds of people. We have a witch, we have a dream interpreter, we have somebody that does sound bath, you name it. But I let them get tips and gratuities. But I said we need to give back, we need to teach, and we need to give good information. People are struggling. They want to know when they're going to get a job and things like that, and so we need to
Especially times right now,
help them.
everyone's
Yep.
really
Yeah.
just kind of looking for something to grasp onto, I suppose.
Right.
So
And all
having
kinds of, guess what? The number one thing is that they ask,
what? That's actually
even
something I
during
had on my
COVID,
list. What?
love.
Love. Everyone needs love. Everyone wants to know
Yes.
when they're gonna have love in their future.
I think during COVID, it's been jobs. And it's just one of those things where I can put out the cards and I could go, oh, you have a new job and this is when it's going to be. And I don't use mediumship so much with that. So I need to use my cards, but it's so crazy accurate. Yeah, but I did a reading for you.
Yeah, I guess now would be a good time. I'm super curious, super excited.
Okay.
Lay it on me.
When I do reading, I always use 10 cards, and the first four cards are for the whatever person I'm looking at. And there will be a card that represents you, energy crossing you, your future, your past, and then the message or what's going on. And I go, where's all the bells and whistles? But let me tell you what I do have for you, Trevor. I get down, the first card down is the Eight of Cups. And this is when this represents you, and it's like I had something built up, but I'm thinking about going in a new direction. And it's a really great card of like I'm going in a new direction, I'm thinking about leaving something behind and trying something new and going on a new path. You have a lot of success crossing over the energy over you. Oh my gosh, keep it there. You are manifesting all this success into your life. You have a woman that comes in the future. She's a queen of wands. She is a very business minded, very ambitious. My goodness, she's motivated. She'll pull you, push you with her. And it's good to be aligned and have this person as an ally. So, very much, she's good in business, usually very successful in her lifetime because she's business minded. And I love that. You have a brand new beginning that just started. The Ace of Wands is here in the past position. And I get the Knight of Swords for you. Now, the Knight of
Ooh.
Swords is like, I'm ready to get going. I want to go do this. It's swift action, it's jumping into something before you even know. And a lot of times when I get this at the beginning, I say, hold on. For the rest of your life, you need to just go slower and make decisions a little bit with a little bit more time. I do get you stuck still a little bit on a little decision, maybe not seeing clearly, just a little one. But I do get the Hermit card, and that is my card for hey, you've got you got a lot of stuff, more paths you can take, so many things you could do. It's just incredible. I have all these things like, oh, what do I do? What do I do? I have all this great stuff. But the Hermit card tells me the way that you're going to make your decisions on your path are from going to people. If it's professional, talk to those people. If it's relationship or whatever, talk to your best friends and stuff. But to make the decisions, you need to totally get advice from people. They're going to give you everything that you need for you to make your own decision, but you've got big ones still to come. Think that you're on certain thing. You've got big stuff there. I do get that money's going to come in on a regular basis with the potential to grow for you as well. But you know what? The ultimate outcome card, and I did free readings the other night, and I'm going to tell you, everybody was getting this at the end of the reading. I'm like, this is crazy. But when we get the Two of Wands, the guy's standing there and he's holding the world and he's watching it. He's waiting for results. And this is what we all are doing. We're waiting for to see what's going to happen in the world. The guy's looking at the world and he's just waiting patiently what's going to happen. A lot of the things in our lifetime, personal or business, depend on the world changing back a little bit more to normal. So this is your ultimate outcome card. You're still waiting to see what's going to happen in the world. And I'm going to tell you, I did predictions for um, last April for 1 year, and I hit everything. You can go back to, I know you saw some of my shows where I'm really literally started off screaming about November. I predicted who the president was going to be, and in last April of last year, and that there was going to be a woman, strong woman, vice president, and all this stuff. But when I got to November, I would scream, and I felt terrible for months because I saw the U.S. suffering great losses starting then, mid to end of November. So, so anyway, we are going. I think we're coming out of this. I got to do some more predictions for the rest of the year, but believe me, I'm ready. I'm so ready. But I do get that part of what you're doing depends on how things, you know, unfold.
Well, thank you so much. That's a lot of energy there, for sure, which I'm just gonna take in strides, I hope.
It's all about energy. I wrote a book. Can I
Yeah,
show
go
it?
right ahead.
I've got 4 books. Many ways of manifesting. Many ways of manifesting. Uh, I That's the biggest thing that I do, Trevor, is well, I'm Wiccan trained, so I do magic, protective magic. But the biggest thing that I do is teach people. I do a reading, and if I see something that is dire and we want to change it, I say, now let me give you a prescription, so to speak, a metaphysical one.
Okay.
Now, I'll say, if somebody can't make a decision, an affirmation's really good. And I have one. Let me see if I still have it right here. Let me just kind of look really fast. And it came to me, and I wrote it down on something. And it is, I see clearly every day. I see the right decision, and I take it. That's a really good one. If people are going, well, I'm unsure of what is going on in my
Hmm.
life and all of that. And now I'm trying to figure out how to make you bigger again. I'm so untechy.
No worries. But no, that's
I see
really
you in a
interesting.
little box now. How's that? That
That's perfectly
works.
fine. So actually, I was curious to go back to something from a bit ago. You mentioned whenever you were growing into your divine spiritual path, um, that it puts some struggle with your family and those around you.
Oh yes.
I was
Oh
wondering what
yeah.
that's like and what it's like to experience that.
Um, it's so disappointing because I know that this is from God, and when I work with the angels and everything is all the light stuff, all the good. And for people to question it, thinking that, I go to cemeteries, and before COVID, I
Hmm.
went to cemeteries, and I'm a minister. And sorry, it's very warm. When the energy gets up, it gets very warm. When people always see me fanning myself when I'm doing the readings. Um, so I would go to the cemeteries and feel. I do tours and things like that, because part of that is entertainment, but is very some of it's serious. So when I go myself, I anoint the graves, and I find a lot of the teenagers and things like that. Anywhere that I feel that there's great sorrow and grief, I want to take that away and bring in positive, loving energy. And so some of my family found out I was doing that, and they questioned that I was working with Satan. So I go, I'm a minister. I'm going to the cemetery to clear out, you know, any dark energy and all the people that are sad and left that energy in there.
So why
And
would that tie
they
you
say
to
that.
Satan for them? How's that?
Um, just going to a cemetery, I think that they think that you're gonna
That
have a
death
bonfire and
immediately just
conjure
ties to that.
something, you know. And I'm like, they never knew what I did other
Hmm.
than I go to cemeteries. So they really felt, oh, this is not good. And but there's then we got to get into the paranormal side of things. So I have a group together that for years we would, for the last few several years, we would do tours, and we go to a art deco building that's got several stories, and for the owner we do ghost tours there. And so we do see things in the cemeteries like black energy. And we I did see the Hat Man in this in this
The
of
Hat
a Hat
Man.
Man story.
The Hat
The
Man
Hat Man
being
is he's actually my book, the Little Book of Big Evil, and we these are true stories that people have written about seeing the dark side of things. So Hat Man is supposedly like a shadow person, all black person that wears a hat. And people tend to think that he's, really bad or whatever. But the one that I met in this building wasn't so bad. And but I think people are super afraid of him. A lot of people see shadow people. And when people go on the ghost tour, there's always a corner of this one cemetery that they seem to see them running around, hanging out. And I personally have only seen like one, and then the Hat Man. So I went into this building. Well, the first time I went into the building, I sat down and I saw a spirit walk in, and I could tell he was an Englishman because they show me somebody that I would know. And then this was Terry Thomas, who was an older actor. And they show me him, and the guy walks in a costume. I'm telling you, a lion costume. And I'm
and
like,
these are
okay,
spirits that you're
this
seeing.
is a spirit. And I'm in an old theater, and it's, 4-story theater. and I was waiting for people to come. I didn't know what's happening. This guy walked in, and I was like, oh my gosh, and he was funny and everything. And so I said, well, that's interesting. Then everybody got together, and they were talking about the ghost of the theater for the building. And I was like, okay. And they had, like, on certain floors, they would have a write up of each ghost. And I go, well, I saw one, and then I really may have saw one other one and not the rest. But ghost spirits come in, they're kind of looky loose sometimes. They like the theater, whatever, and they hang around. Well, we were taking our own tour of the building, and we were in a room which was like it was part of a church way back when. And matter of fact, that priest or the minister hung himself downstairs. It's just like
Oh
crazy
wow.
stuff in there. So anyway, I do protection for everyone, and I use a Saint Benedict's cross. Saint Benedict told the devil to drink his own poison, so everybody went, "Oh, Saint Benedict, you're such our
So
hero,
edgy.
right? That you can't say that to the devil." So he was so strong, they used that for exorcisms and stuff.
Mm.
So I was walking around and with the cross, and I don't ever touch anybody. I'm just kind of saying our prayers or whatever. Well, one person got totally pushed. Nobody was there. She got pushed forward, and they were sitting, and I went, okay. And I said, look it. And then all of a sudden I go, there's a hat man here. I said, we have a hat man, and he's in the basement. And we walked around, and I said, I kept going. I was looking for ghosts and stuff. We found a couple. I said, I'm telling you guys, we need to go to the basement because there's a hat man down there. And so my
So
group
you
is
want to
not.
go towards the supposedly evil
Abs-
spirit? This sounds like a
this is
script
the
from a
guilt trip.
horror movie that goes poorly.
It went fine, but you'll be surprised. The thing is that it gets me when you kind of watch the paranormal shows.
Mhm.
And matter of fact, I was Hollywood came knocking about a year and 4 months ago for me to do my own reality show,
Really?
because my deal is the more psychics you go in, the more stuff happens. So you watch those paranormal shows, not like a little ball goes and they go, oh, the ball went, get the K2 out, the ball moved that much. And I'm like, what? But when they encountered something that, like what I call a Gumby that would bite or scratch
Okay.
or just scare them, the vibes, you would see grown people that are there to investigate scream and run, right? You see them run away from it, and I'm screaming at the TV, run to it. This is what you're supposed to be doing.
This
Run
is
to
your
that and
job.
see what it is.
Your job is
So,
to
yeah,
investigate these things, and you're
do it.
doing the opposite of
And
that.
so we went down to the basement, and they were screaming at me because we had like ship platter, and I'm going the wrong way facing out. They said, don't do that. I said, I'm not putting my back to this. So I went down. I said, I'm fine. We went around, and I said, we actually have a portal over here. And I said, I do have a hat man's down here. I know he is. It was like so dark, little room down in the bottom of this big giant skyscraper thing. And we went to the other side, and there was the old elevator. They never changed the elevator. It's scary as heck. We take pictures in it, and you get faces. I'm
Hmm.
like, oh my gosh. And I haven't been in it yet. I don't want to go in it.
Oh, so
But
you'll chase again. You'll chase evil
right,
spirits, but you won't go in the old elevator.
you will know, well, because people get stuck in it, number one. But you never know, if you have a psychic alarm, Trevor, down in your stomach, and
Okay.
when it gives you like that's a bad vibe, don't do it. And so if there's not a good vibe, I don't do it. But like somebody said, if Debbie were to ever run, you better run. But I was walking in the dark, and I said, I need a light. I need a light up here. And I was pointing up. I said, I gotta get it up here. I get a hat man. So I did, I forget I didn't have a cell phone. Because I, up until just right now, I finally got one, and people had lights on their phones, and everybody got the light up there, and we just couldn't believe it for whatever reason. And I think I know why. There was a ledge up there. There were drippy candles that were not lit, and there was a great big oil painting of a man with a hat, and he had his head down, and he had a guitar, and the flames were coming up, painted coming up, and weird symbols on it. And I said, it was like a little altar or shrine. I said, somebody must have, uh, been susceptible that the Hat Man compelled them to take that picture and to come down here and get up there and put it up there. And then they had all this other stuff. It was crazy.
That is,
But that Hat Man was fine. He didn't do anything to anybody or anything. I said, he's fine. He's not something to worry about.
I don't know if I would have followed you and joined you for this adventure to chase down the source of the Hat Man.
Well, part of me is doing the protection, and I have it all. I make something called scrabbly juice, and I have
Scrabbly
the
juice.
holy water. It's just salt and wild rose seed and broken up sage in it. And a lot of times, everybody thinks sage is the thing. A lot
Hmm.
of people are allergic to it, the smoke and stuff like that.
Oh,
And it does work really good with dispelling some of that stuff and making it go away. It's pretty darn good. But this is with the salt and the sage. Wild rue, my friend that works with me with the paranormal stuff, he is from Iran, and he said this is a Persian spice, and it does smell like chocolate. Ugh, it's so good. But he said this is what we use instead of sage. So you can burn that if you wanted. But I just kind of throw it at them, but I'm very wary about pets and kids and
hmm.
animals in the environment. So, but it does take care of it. At a cemetery once, I was standing and I was looking in the bushes up by the main office, and I could see this undulating black, which I call a scrabbly. And I went, great. And it was a little bit bigger. And I go, I think that could be a Gumby. And up behind me came a medium, and she goes, did you see that? Do you see that? And I go, yeah, I'll take care of it. So I'm the one that's going to go out and take care
You're
of
gonna go
it,
take
Trevor.
care
So
of it. You're
you'll be
gonna
okay.
suit up. You're gonna fight these.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I do. I do have my little case. Rose water's good. Holy water's good. There's a lot of stones, obsidian, black tourmaline, all kinds of protective stuff. And you can also yell at it and tell it to go away. So
Is
there you
that
go.
your favorite? What kind of
Uh,
things do you say to a ghost or a spirit to have them be dispelled?
okay, let me tell you.
Okay.
My house got haunted. And, when I got into this, we had things actually fly. One of the biggest things that ever happened was sitting on the couch with my husband downstairs in a big living room, and our friend's little boy was playing on the floor, and we had an older TV, so it had a little remote on top of it
Mhm.
across the room. And that remote, because my husband does not want to know any of this, it's like, no, 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 no,
Meanwhile,
no, no.
he's your husband. Yeah, he just refuses. Pure
No,
skeptic.
he's an engineer, and he just doesn't want to know any of this. He does not want to, but it wants him to know. So the remote came off the TV and it floated. It didn't fall down and it didn't zoom across. It floated across the room at a diagonal and went just real slow. And we both watched it, and then it set down at his toes. Just sit down at his toes. And he looked at me and goes, well, that was weird. And I go, do you think? Do you understand now? And he's like, he didn't want
So
any
you just
part of
sit
it.
you just sit there and watch it as it slowly approaches his feet.
Oh, we just watched it. We both watched it just go down. And
How
we're
far
just
how
like,
far was it? How far did that travel?
oh gosh. Oh, I'd say 14 feet, something
That
like
is
that.
that's a
You know,
wild travel.
it had to come down as a diagonal from that height. And it was the most craziest thing. I said, we'd be millionaires if we got that on camera. That was crazy. But we've had like cheese crackers in the kitchen, everything's
Okay.
shut. It's at night, no drafts, nothing. And this box started going like this. And I start laughing because it's waving at me. And my husband's looking at me in the recliner. I said, turn around. And he's like, popsicle. I said, turn around. There's no way. No way. I said, turn around. I said, the cracker box is doing this. It's waving at you. And he would not do it. And then it went, And I was like, dang it, But he doesn't know. He
So
doesn't
he's
want to
not
know.
just a skeptic itself, but actively refuses to
Nope, go in there,
acknowledge anything,
right?
even if it's saying right in
Does
front of
not
him.
want to. Does not want to. And that's
That's
fine. It's
absolutely
a
crazy to
comfort
me.
zone. It's a comfort zone for everybody. But I had a lot of stuff going on, paranormal activity phenomena, and I was sleeping, and I am a good sleeper, and I sleep all night, and this stuff started happening. We have an interior door. We have a suite of 2 bedrooms together, in the master suite with a big bathroom and a hallway. Well, there's an interior door there, and I would hear bam, bam, bam 3 times. And I get up and run like I think the kids are going to be there. And I went, oh, the kids are grown and gone. And I would open the door just to check, and nothing's there. So this kept happening, and I was so tired. And I noticed that it was at 3 a.m. And I said, it's not even like it's the bewitching hour, because I grew up thinking it was midnight until somebody said 3 a.m. That's like when the veil's thin. I said, really? And I went, well, I wish it would stop because I'm tired. So one night there
Getting
was a
annoyed by these
bam.
ghosts.
There was 3 bams again. 1, 2, 3. And then I was mad and I yelled out, stop it. You will never do that again, ever. I need to sleep. And so you will not do it. You will not wake me up. And it's quit until
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 story goes on.
another thing I found out about ghosts and spirits and stuff. I was um I was going to bed, and it was late, 1:30 in the morning or what. I had to be up at 7 30. And so I talk out loud. I talk always out loud when I'm working with the other side. So, and this I found out why. And so I had the alarm in my hand, the clock. And I said out loud, I'm going to set the alarm for 7:30 because I got to get up. And in my head, Trevor, I said, give yourself 10 more minutes. So I set it for 7:40. But out loud, I said, I'm setting it for 7:30. And I went to bed. And I woke up to not a big bam, but a proper little knock. Knock. And I woke up, knock, and I got up, knock, knock. Not 3, but 4 knocks. And I went, wait a minute. And I ran in, and it was on the dot 7:30. And I said, thank you for waking me and being my alarm. But I did give myself 10 more minutes. And that's when I went, Debbie, some of these spirits that come in your house, they maybe don't have permission. They cannot read your mind. And that's why I say everything out
I think
loud.
they need
When I
permission to
manifest
read your mind.
everything.
Is that how?
I'm not going to give permission to
I
anything
mean, of
to
course,
read
I
your
wouldn't
mind.
either. You know?
But yeah, you don't do that. But we have to know that if we're working with God or maybe archangels and our guides, yes, they can. But the everyday little ghost that comes in isn't reading your mind. So
So
interesting. I learned that.
something curious about. You bring up messages of God and angels. Where does religion fall into your practice? I suppose.
I believe in God and Jesus and that there's angels. And yet I know that there's this energy thing going on. And so I definitely, on my cards, I have the cross that I had from Sunday school in 6th grade. I believe in Jesus. I believe in God. And I work with all of everybody, but I also have to put in and honor this law of attraction, because I have manifested everything from my husband to a Camaro to a party jack ball for my antenna. It's amazing. I teach it to people, and crazy stuff happens. And it's all about, I watched that video, The Secret, which is a way too dramatic, and I went, somebody gets me. Oh my gosh. And then I started saying, okay, I'm going to go learn everything I can about manifesting. I was at a party and a chick goes, just tell the universe what you want and you get it. And I go, I'm like a librarian and I do research. I know, no, I didn't believe in it. And I was dating a lot. I went on a date. I was driving back and I go, this sucked. Worst date ever. And I go, wait a minute. Now I'm desperate. What did that girl say? She said, say, universe, I want. There's a blank, fill it in. And I did. And I did believe in it. But I said, universe, I want. I filled in the this what I thought I wanted in a man, the hair color, the eye color, and the job and the everything in minute detail. And in 14 days, that guy walked into my life. And I was like, this is crazy. But I let him go because I didn't know what I was doing. If you guys manifest out there, ask for the perfect person to come in, right? Don't give details because that narrows the field a lot. Let the other side bring that person in. So I did it again. Universe I want, and I did the wrong thing. And I just said
Hoping the
whatever I
universe
want.
be
Just
generous, give you a take two.
right. And in 14 days, he walked into my life, and that is my husband. And we've been married. We're having our anniversary next week for 15 years.
Ah,
And
congratulations.
yeah, but I even asked in that one that he have um, uh, custody of a child because I wanted to raise another child, and he did. It was every little thing I asked for walked in. And that's when I said, this is crazy. And I got into it and I wrote my book and I went to people that I know that got huge things from manifesting. And then I went on to look for a book like that because I wanted one and there wasn't. So I wrote it and there we go.
Well, that's absolutely fantastic. We are running a little bit low on time here, so I think it's about time. It's been absolutely amazing having you here.
Well, I
Tons of
thank you
great
so much.
stories. Learned so much about all things mystical, magic, and spiritual. Like, there's definitely a part of me that feels enlightened. Thank you so much for the reading. That was unexpected. And I'm definitely
Well,
going to be going back to just analyze every little piece of that.
okay. Well, thank you so much for having me, Trevor. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Where can people find your things?
Oh,
All links, books.
psychicfixes.com. And I'm on YouTube. And I have a meetup in Southern California. And I'm on Facebook. On Facebook, we have many shows. So there's something for everybody there.
Great. Hopefully, a bunch of people will go find their ways over there.
That'd be
All right.
great. Thank you, Trev.
Thank you. If you made this far, thank you very much for watching the Out Somewhere podcast. This was a bunch of fun to make, but it is the first episode, and so I'm sure there's plenty of room to improve. So if you could, please leave some kind of feedback or rating on whatever platform this is, and I'm sure I'm going to read through all of them. So thank you.